fire and never rep is told.
Good day, all you beautiful dreamers, keepers, and reptile enthusiasts. I'm your boy Brian from Sky High Morse, rolling with the Show Me Reptile Show. Next to me, we got our boy Mike Duvall. With that, we are going to go ahead and roll our sponsorship video real quick.
Why are there not more people talking about the awesomeness of reptiles? Let's change that with Steve Nelson. Listen up, fellow reptile enthusiasts. Welcome to a Reptile IM with your boy, Steve Nelson.
Awesome. So it doesn't look like we got anybody tuning in right this second, but as they trickle in, we will most definitely be pulling them up. But with that, we're going to go ahead and bring out our co-host. The first one we're going to go ahead and bring out is our boy Wayne. Wayne, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How about y'all?
Hey Wayne, how's it going? Good.
Doing awesome. And our next guest, or our next host or co-host or host, or however you want to call him, is our boy and yours, Steve from Reptile IM.
What's up, everybody?
How you doing tonight, Steve?
Man, I'm good out here in Iowa, getting ready to set up the Davenport show, dude. So you got me live from the hotel room as of like 5 minutes ago, man. You know what it is.
Yep, you know we're out here at Marianna, Ohio, ourselves out here in our hotel room. So we got that 2-day banger show today and tomorrow. So you know we're going to be hitting that up tomorrow as well. So make
That's
sure you
what's
guys
up.
are looking out for them reels and that stuff on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And with that, we're going to go ahead and bring out our guest, Will and Audrey from Flawless Exotic Creations. What's going on, Will and Audrey? How you guys doing?
Hi.
Hey, what's going on? We're doing very well.
Yes.
So first and foremost, I will say thank you guys for coming on the show. We greatly appreciate it. Anytime we can have you on, we most welcome you. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get into our questions, and I'll start off with my boy Mike Duvall. If you want to go ahead and start it off.
All right, thank you, Brian. What advice would you give someone just starting out with gecko breeding?
We always suggest that when you're breeding geckos that you first figure out what you like, what your preference is. And that's really the start of all gecko breeding period. That's number one. What is your preference? Go after what your preference is, because there are so many people in the gecko industry that somebody will like the same things that you like.
Right. And you approach it in a sense of you're not just starting to pick up or, purchase certain gecko morphs or genes because you have to be a breeder. You could just be a cool keeper and keep the things you like looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know a lot of people incubate their eggs differently, but how do you guys incubate your eggs, and what type of substrate do you prefer?
So we incubate ours in a Willbanks homeostatic incubator. We also use like the lure boxes, the fish and tackle boxes. And inside those boxes, we use the Repashy Super Hatch.
Yeah. And we incubate at 68 degrees.
Nice. I got one more question. What's your opinion on breeding morphs versus genetic strength?
I feel it's all the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think the morphs are the genetics. So, as long as you can kind of envision something and everything you're putting together in your collection to you to work toward whatever your goal may be, it should be along those lines. But the morphs, for the most part, they are the genetics, you know, and you're just trying to figure out how do they react or respond to each other as you put them together.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
basically like your combinations.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Wayne, do you have any questions for him?
Nah, right off.
All right. So then I'll go ahead with a few questions I had prepared, and then we'll kind of just wing it and let it go organically.
Cool.
My first question for you guys is, you guys really produce some amazing geckos, some really dark, some really whites, and I don't want to call them lily whites because they're not lily whites. Can you explain a little bit about how you guys got to that point and producing these whites and these darks?
All right. It's kind of two separate stories. So we do work with Lily White quite a bit, but our high white line of non-lilies, it's just literally strategically trying to work with that high white, that white spot gene that we have in the crested geckos, and it can be displayed in several ways, from a high cream to a high piercing like white.
Right.
So we're kind of trying to, it's no different than ball pythons, where you have the gene itself. You can see the gene, you can test for the gene, but then you also have
Expressions.
a higher expression of the same exact gene. So you're trying to strategically pair the best example of the animal out
Right.
there in your collection to hopefully replicate itself, or do you one better and outproduce itself and make an animal that's far better than both parents.
Okay.
Nice.
And now, how long did it take you guys to reach this point?
I mean, I feel like
we're still working on it, fine-tuning it. It's
but
a numbers game.
we've been in it for going on 9 years now, so
Right.
8-9 years.
It's a numbers game, but we start off with a great kind of foundation, though.
We did.
So when we got in, it's the equivalent of kind of seeing some incredible animals that other breeders may have, and being that the hobby as a whole, the industry as a whole, is so strongly, how do I say, carried by pet keepers, enthusiasts, that we were able to contact a lot of breeders and keepers that had phenomenal animals that weren't necessarily doing it for money, wasn't necessarily doing it as a full-time job. And we were able to kind of make private deals with them on animals that weren't necessarily for sale.
Exactly.
And a lot of the time we were able to procure those animals and acquire those animals, and it kind of gave us a huge leap into the game, in whether we were importing certain genes from out of the country that we wanted to work with. So we were able to get these high-end geckos and get them together and start producing and creating our holdbacks for us first before we start making stuff available to the public.
Geckos do y'all have right now? About how many?
We got right around 2,000.
Yeah, give or take, depending on hatchling season.
Right.
A lot of geckos.
Now, last time I seen you guys was out at Tinley. You guys had a beautiful wall set up behind you. Now, when you guys go and do your vending, what is the most important part of your setup?
It's a totality of circumstances. Right. So every bit of our setup, there's a reason, there's a rhyme and reason to it. It's from the brand, from the ground of our booth to the highest point of our sign, to how far it goes out into the aisle.
Right.
Every single element that we put into our setup, it's important.
Right. We wanted to speak our brand.
Yes.
We want flawless. We want to obviously provide the best customer service possible, even to potential customers, even we find a lot of our job is educating the people at the shows, because a lot of people are not as knowledgeable about the crested geckos. But at the same time, we want to often bring out the wide variety of colors that we work with the crested geckos, because a lot of people have not kind of seen them or put their eyes on them. So we go through a hierarchy of things as far as the priorities go. And at the very, very bottom of that list is sales. That's the last thing that we'll worry about, is sales.
And so with you being so connected to the community like you guys are, because you do a lot of social media, a lot of YouTube content and that, how important to you for the growth of Flawless is the social media, particularly pertaining to YouTube and Instagram?
It's just
It's imperative.
the heartbeat of our business. We started our business literally doing all of our social media up front. We never vended a show for the first 3 years.
Yep.
And then we vended our first show next to Bob Vu and was picking his brain on how his business strategy was as well. We knew we wanted to push harder and expand upon our projects, especially when at that time we were building our facility that we have.
Right.
And we just kind of went down that rabbit hole of pushing online, pushing direct.com, our website. We found that a lot of people kind of gravitated away from their websites and went more into Instagram, went more into Morph Market. And while all of those things are amazing and we'll continue to brand and rep those same kind of avenues, you still, for us, we needed to have a .com because we push everyone to our .com.
So when we started off, our social media was Facebook. Facebook was where we got the most attention, the most, return on what we were putting out there.
And wake up call.
Yeah. And that's what I was about to say. It was a reality check whenever we got into the game and we were starting to see different people that were doing auctions and stuff on Facebook. And then Facebook said, nope,
sales, everything.
Nobody can do animal sales on Facebook. So when that happened, that's what, kind of was the driving force behind, hey, we need our own space online.
Yeah.
Not to say, like he was saying, we still use all of the social media because that's what drives the traffic from our social media, Facebook profile, our Instagram profile, our TikTok, our YouTube, all of those things that drives people to our website so that they can see, yes, we are accessible by other means besides our social media.
As well as Google ads, fauna classifieds, in a way that other people wasn't really doing it at a high level, meaning we would go on fauna classifieds and contact them and pay a yearly membership to renew just constant ads of not having anything for sale, but just repping your brand on their landing page of different reptile keepers, of people shopping and browsing the classifieds. We wouldn't necessarily have anything up there, but we wanted you to see the flawless brand on their landing page when you go to their website to send you to our website. So we will pay advertising marketing fees to do these different things in hopes of outreaching and reaching that brand where you're trying to become a household name in a lane where not very many people are doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
Now, with you guys, sorry to interrupt you there. Now, with you guys said you didn't van for your first 3 years. Now that you're 9 years in, about how many shows do you guys do every year?
About 6.
We do. So I'll give you the actual rundown. We do 2 in Atlanta, which is Bob's show, which is the Southeast Reptile Expo. Then we do 2 All-Americans
that's right. Yep.
in Charlotte. And then we do 2 Tinleys and 1 Daytona.
That's right. That's about that.
Nice. So when's the next show that you guys are going to be vending at?
It'll be probably Daytona.
Besides this one we're doing right now,
we're
in Charlotte
right
doing this show, but Charlotte's only an hour from home. So we just, came back and made sure we got here in time to do your show. But after this show, we have a show in Daytona.
We appreciate that y'all coming on.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And now, for new people that are trying to get into the social media part of this, because it can be very difficult to break through on social media, what kind of advice can you give them?
A lot. Number one, go ahead. You tell them, baby.
I was just going to say, number 1, be authentically you. When you put out content, be your authentic self. There will be people that gravitate towards you. They'll be your people. Also, give value in every single thing that you put out on the internet.
Absolutely.
Don't just put stuff out to put stuff out. Make sure that there's value in what your watchers, your subscribers can get from each and every single video, each and every single post that you post.
Right. To add to that, you're also going to understand that, everyone is not going to be your cup of tea. That's just how things work. Everyone isn't going to like you no matter how likable you are. Much like adding on Audra said, just be who you are. Try to avoid conflict as much as possible. Yes. Avoid clicks, and because how we navigate, I say it all the time, we don't in anyone's drama whatsoever. We're friends with pretty much absolutely everybody.
I don't think there's any one person in the community
Right.
period that we don't
Socialize
have
with,
a
have
good
a relationship with.
relationship with.
But we also stand on that. And what I mean by that, at the end of the day, if our buddy over here on this side cool with us, you know, and we got a buddy over here also cool with us, but they don't like each other, I got to figure that out. That ain't got nothing to do with us.
Yes.
So we're crystal clear on how we represent our brand.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any questions for him, Steve?
So I do have a question because I've watched you guys for years. I've kind of watched some of the transformation and your guys' evolution. And not that it was ever off point. That's not what I mean. But you guys are definitely on an uphill. Well, I guess you're about the top. You know, you're doing a lot. So
Thank you.
for somebody that has already reached, because I'm sure you guys set
Sure.
personal goals and you've had to have surpassed those along the way. What would you guys, where would you like to see yourselves? And I'm not going to say in 5 years, that's a long time. Where would you like to see your guys selves in 2 years?
I think it's more of we've always felt that if you're not moving forward, you're going back. You
Right.
never want to become stationary. So even if you feel like you're stationary, you're actually regressing. So we just always want to be reinventing ourselves, reinventing what it is to put things out there, always using the next best thing,
Right.
always being in the know on or educating ourselves to be better, do better, be more efficient, be better for our animals, and do better for the community. Whatever we can do to continuously stay hungry for success.
Right. And while
Sure.
doing that, we also want to make sure that we're outreaching to our family, our followers, our supporters. We're trying to get, out into the bigger regions. We've done, Reptile Super Show out in Vegas. We've done that once. We want to get more out West Coast. We want to get down to Dallas. We want to get to these shows in order, not necessarily the typical, we need to go to these shows, we know we'll do well. We want to get to these shows to meet the same people we've been dealing with as customers, as followers, as supporters, and meet them face to face in their regions. We want to get out here in different networks and spread our brand in person.
Yes.
And it has nothing to do with revenue.
Right.
So
right.
with some of the shows that you're talking about, and you're talking about Dallas, and we've discussed St. Louis and Tinley. That's kind of rotating with the NARBC circuit, and I love to go and kick it, and that's where I see a lot of familiar faces.
Yeah.
So are you guys interested? So are you guys doing this full time at this point? Okay,
For a
so
few years, yeah.
Yes.
so being out in the field is very important to you guys. So you guys are looking to branch out to other circuits, other shows and things like that. Cause I love the NARBCs. I
Mhm.
love them. Like I said, they're full of family, but
Right.
it's hard to base a career off of something when it's spread out as far as it is. And I'm not
So-
saying that you can't, but what's your guys' thought process on
Easy.
Yeah.
So,
filling?
Go ahead.
So for us, and that's the thing. So for us, we kind of think opposite. We think that it's good to kind of have a show, twice a year in a location, and kind of that's the only time you're going to be there twice a year. But we also talking about other bigger name shows like the Reptile Super Show with Rami
Sure.
out West
Yeah.
California.
Pomona, Anaheim. We want to get
stuff
out
like
there.
that.
It's
So
more
Okay,
like
okay,
what we look
okay.
at is foot traffic. So we look at things completely different. We want now revenue is cool. Again, you're going to hear that repeated from us. Revenue is cool, but we
Sure.
want contacts. We want the 10,000 people go out and meet and greet, 15,000 people coming to the door. That's what we need to grow our brand. When you come in, you
Yes.
see this flag that's 20 feet up in the air and it says Flawless Geckos, and you see our personalities and our likeness on our banners. We want
Sure.
to engage and tell you what it's about.
Yes.
Yeah.
We want to put ourselves in different areas of the
Right.
country to meet different people
Right.
that's not maybe quite in our
Or that
region.
stopped with us already because
Yeah.
we've shipped internationally.
Exactly.
We've shipped all over the states. We did a video quite some time ago last year where we sold our 5,000th gecko.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
I mean,
That's
it's
awesome.
doing very
Yeah.
well.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
I got one final question for you because you mentioned your personality and your likeness. Um, Will, I saw you the first time, I'm guessing
Yeah.
probably about 3 years ago, and it was
Hmm.
before an NARBC. I'm
Yep.
telling you my side. And a picture of you popped up on Facebook. And I was like,
Uh-oh.
what is going on here?
Yep.
Can you name the picture that
Is
I
it-
am
It depends.
referencing?
I'm not sure. I have a lot of pictures on the internet.
Was he asleep?
No,
Was
no,
was I naked?
you had a very special wig on.
Wait.
Okay.
Oh, he was the soul floating.
Yeah. And the reason I say that is because I'm actually a professional bodybuilder as well. So if you ever been on my profile, I
Yeah.
have actual pictures where I'm on stage and
Yeah.
things like that for my personal page.
I keep trying to tell him to change.
Yeah. But yeah, we do different things, and it's putting a wig on. I've worn several.
He's worn a
wigs when I go
mullet.
out. Yeah.
Joe Dirt mullet.
Well,
He's wearing the Jerry
and
curl.
I'm all into that. And when I saw that picture, I was like, dude, that's my people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
I've had people ask me, why do you do that? Why do you do that? It helps keep me grounded and not take myself too seriously
Right.
and I like to do that stuff and make people smile. And I guess I don't mind being the butt end of the joke if everybody else is having a really good
Exactly.
time around me.
Absolutely.
So I saw that and I was like, I'm gonna see this guy and I'm gonna approach him. And I don't know if you remember the first time that I
I
approached you,
did.
but
Yeah.
I came up to you and I told you, I said, I had to come meet you, dude. I just had to, and your table was smashed busy. I
Oh yeah.
couldn't stick around, but I came up, gave some love, laughed, and yeah. Yeah, so
I
that's how
remember.
I found you was via a still picture that had
It's
all that
awesome.
I needed to see written all over it, dude. So that's my final question.
So
That's
I
Definitely.
Thank you.
keep it
Thank
up
you.
reels and everything. That kind of brings up my next question and flows real good into it. Is my first time actually seeing you was on a reel you guys did on the Diamond series.
Mhm.
It was actually you guys. How well do you know your spouse?
The ice bucket challenge.
The question is, when you were doing that reel, toward the end of the reel, you guys made the comment of this is the lamest thing you guys done, and Chrissy and should look out for you and put you on the 15 minutes of lane. When you
Yeah.
guys did that reel, did you ever think that you were actually going to be part of the 15 minutes of lane?
Actually, no,
No,
because it was a perfect reel. Got crazy feedback.
Yeah.
But if you remember back then, when the actual reel and we did a whole video on YouTube on it, 2 videos on
We
YouTube on
did.
it.
There's
That was
one with him and
actually
one with me.
the same time when he had his leg amputated. That's when he was going through that entire process. So it was the timing was a little off, but we didn't think that we were on it now. No.
Got to.
Okay, and now that you are part of the 15 minutes of lane, what are some of your goals and strategies coming out of it to try to win?
Well,
Oh gosh.
we have some things that we're gonna kind of put on camera and kind of roll out with, but we're just gonna continue to be ourselves. We're big on the branding side of things. We have to check a lot of logistic stuff when it comes to business. But we also want to have fun with it as well and show other people that you can literally do what you dream, do what's your passion, but you can also have a lot of fun while doing so.
Yes.
A buddy of ours was on last season.
Yes.
So Darren with Sloan Moore. So we've
Yeah.
seen it happen before. So we're just gonna kind of do our own little thing and put our twist to it, and hopefully we can gather a following behind us for the people who's been watching us along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And so my final question for you, I usually try to keep them a little bit more lighthearted, a lot more fun and friendly. So if you guys could give each other a superpower, so don't get to pick it yourself, the other person gets to pick it for you. What
Right.
superpower would you give the other person?
I know what superpower he would give me.
I would give her the power
to read his mind.
Nope. I would give her the
No
power
way.
of time concept. Her time concept is off completely. So I would give her the power of time concept. That's what I would do.
And what about you?
I got the powers already, baby.
Yeah.
I heard that.
Y'all, he irritates me so much.
That's my superpower.
That's what it would be. I would give him the power to know when to not irritate me.
Well, see, therein lies the problem. He does know that he's irritating you. It's just flawless. And, he can't let that go. I'm sorry, but you lost your vote now.
So,
He aggravates me constantly,
I love it.
all the time.
have you guys ready for endorsements yet for the 15 minutes?
No, we haven't.
No, we haven't.
No, not at all.
I guess we're like, on that kind of precipice where we don't want to like start throwing it too soon, but get it a little bit closer, like maybe right before we go to Daytona or something like that, or Daytona time, August-ish. I think that's when we're going to really start to ramp it up.
Right. Because I know you guys do Tinley, like you guys just said earlier. Yep. Now, do you plan on using Tinley to help promote yourselves?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We're going to use Tinley. We're going to use Daytona. We're going to use all the things.
Nice. Because I know last year we had quite a few people that didn't participate. And, it was a big disappointment. I want to say, they did lose out on some things. Some people might say that, it was a blessing that they didn't. I'm not going to say be one of those people because I want to see these people, participate in a competition that can always push themselves further, push their brand further than what they can do themselves. And with that, what tools do you guys use to help push your guys' brand on social media? And what kind of tools do you use to monitor it to make sure that it's doing well?
Self accountability is going to be the number one tool for us. We have to sit down and have these conversations all the time. You have to respect your business to the point of executing your business plan. Therefore, you're going to have self accountability where if you're going to create a schedule and your business plan says, hey, we're going to do 2 videos a week, we're going to do a live every other week, you need to do everything to make sure and ensure that happens on schedule as it should, without fault. Consistency. You have to stay on that. So that's what we've been doing on the Snake channel and the Gecko channel, because it's 2 separate businesses, 2 separate LLCs. So we're literally having to record content several times. Sometimes we'll get an entire log of content that we have to go through and actually filter out and, make videos out of, and then schedule them to release. And then we have to do the logistic work on creating thumbnails that are catchy and eye-catching. Titles. We have to create social media posts that's going to be not only shorts on YouTube here, but as well as reels on Instagram.
Cross-promoting with TikTok.
Engaging back and forth with the people that comment toward you, sharing and
making sure everything is very consistent in layout, the way we do things, to make sure that our brand is always being recognized in each and every post that we make, each video that we make.
So a lot of people, they look at it and they're like, okay, well, you need to make sure you enjoy it. Yes, we do enjoy the reptiles. We do. But at the end of the day, if this is supposed to be a business, and it has been for us, and it's been very rewarding for us, then you also need to treat it as a job. And you need to do what's expected of you. And sometimes, guess what? The work you got to do is hard. And sometimes the work you don't want to do, you still got to get done. So,
and sometimes it's, especially when it's pertaining to social media.
Yes.
Sometimes I'm actually talking to myself, because I'm actually looking at myself as I talk. Like, sometimes you don't want to be on camera, but you know what?
You got to get it done.
It's expected, because,
and I'm like, hey, come on.
Because everybody out in the world, They don't care that you got a
Right.
phobia of the camera. They
Yep.
don't care that you're tired that day. They want the consistency, and they're counting on you. They're counting on you to be there.
That's the one tip we can kind of throw out there too.
Mhm.
And we started with that with Flawless Crested Geckos. We put it out there to our Patreon members as well. Create your content on a basis and a schedule that you can uphold. On top of that, make sure that you stick to that schedule because number one, if you're arguing with a significant other, boyfriend, whatever it may be, if you have an attitude or you're not having a great day, at the end of the day, nobody cares. No one. Somebody else is still looking for your content. Somebody else is still shopping. No one cares. And if you're going to let it affect you that bad, then unfortunately, you're not going to be successful because you're going to miss too many opportunities.
Yeah, you got to jump through those doors like the Kool-Aid man.
Yes, you do.
I mean, honestly, you gotta take the opportunity and drive. Just
Absolutely.
continue
I
to
tell all the time, hey, I love you. I don't like you. Come on, sit down.
Yeah,
Let's knock
sit
out
down.
this video.
With the
It's
two
usually come after he's irritated me and now I catch an attitude.
I
So-
was just thinking he was using that superpower against you right there.
Oh yeah. Oh
So,
yeah.
go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
With the two business that you all have with the snakes and the geckos and stuff,
Yes.
Yes.
are you the only two people there that's working?
No,
Well-
not that- we're the ones working with the animals.
Yes.
So we have 3 boys, 13, 14, 15. We have also one outside the household employee as well. That all they do is the cleaning, the scrubbing, the sanitizing. So that helps us out tremendously because especially on gecko days, which are Mondays and Thursdays, those
That's a
are
long
long
day.
days, anywhere from 10 to 15 hours, depending on if we're feeding bugs, which is typically on a Thursday. And then spot cleaning, we tend to spot clean and do tub swaps.
Mhm.
And tub swaps is the easiest thing for us because all the kids, everybody has everything already prepped for us. And literally, we see something dirty, we pull the whole tub, swap the animal over, we stack the dirties, and next day, it's like magic. We come in and everything's been dumped out and cleaned and scrubbed. And we're like, all right,
ready to
let's roll
go
again.
again. That's like the rat enclosures for our rodent
Yep.
breeding on the snake side. So we'll get the boys. They've got the pressure washer. They take all of the enclosures out. They pressure wash them, clean them. They're dried and they're stacked,
Yep.
ready for me to go in the next time and clean
Handle all the
everything and
rats,
handle
yeah.
all the rats. So
Wish my kids would do that for me. I come home and I got poop or urates coming in.
See? And that's the part of the branding and the business.
Yeah.
Our kids don't have a choice.
no, they didn't.
They got all these luxuries of life, I mean, they do very well. There's
Yeah.
there's a handful of things they have no choice of.
Yep.
And this is really the kicker, but it's pretty much having a decision on food. We're gonna feed them what we decide to feed them. That their actual jobs and what it entails for them to get things done, for them to make their own money. And the last thing is do what I say.
Yeah.
Period.
Do what I
Yeah,
said.
that pretty much sums it up.
There we go. There we go.
Yep.
Then, how many hours a day do you guys actually spend on your social media editing, putting it out there, commenting, and just getting back with people?
I on social media altogether, I would say collectively, easily 20 hours and about 40 hours a week combined. So 20
Yeah.
hours and 20 hours is what we're probably spending.
And I will say for me, I take care of a lot of logistic stuff
Mhm.
behind the scenes, and he is he's an editor. He will edit those videos. You can tell when he's edited versus mine because mine I tend to like do
Have
different
cut-throughs
angles,
and,
cut
yeah,
throughs, and
different
stuff like that.
transitions.
He is a master of editing, y'all. He gets it in
I
there.
just like to
it's done,
streamline it.
it's done, and I'm like, oh well, what about this? Well, what about this? Well, what about this? So we each have our strengths.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, so we're just constantly, and he's constantly into different YouTube streams. He's
Yep.
popping in, popping out.
Yep.
I'm like,
Understand,
I'm the
watching.
one that'll watch like the Palm Street auctions of different people. I'll watch, just different stuff like that. And I'm commenting. So it's just a constant, like, it's not really we work from 8 in the morning to 10 doing social media. No, we're
Right.
all day, every day, sometimes in the middle of
Uh-huh.
the night. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How do you, between the social media, the geckos, the ball pythons, taking care of the kids, you both work jobs. where do you guys find time for yourself?
This is the job.
This is the
This
job.
is
We
it.
do this
That's
full
it.
time.
Oh,
Yeah.
We do this full
That's it.
time.
Yeah.
right. But you still got to have time for your guys' self, right?
I mean, you make the time, but
Yeah.
I think that's been, and again, that's not going to be the popular thing. I think that's been the biggest mistake for anyone that may be interested in taking this to the next level. You're always worried about finding time for yourself, and making you're going to make it time for yourself here or there. Do what you got to do, but do you want to enjoy your reptiles and make it to a point where they're benefiting your entire household? And you're being able to sustain everything and you're still enjoying your animals and bringing in a revenue, but do you want to kind of filter that down where you're not doing as much and now you got to go and be police officers where we were, and now not enjoy your quality of life, but you're getting a paycheck from that career. So it's like, at the end of the day, stop so much with enjoy your time. That's going to come in due time if you can literally work hard enough to earn that time down.
Yeah.
Since we left law enforcement, for first 5 years, we never went on a vacation.
No.
We worked I was SWAT team leader, worked 70 hours. She would work crazy
I
hours.
work crazy hours.
Different departments. So it was high and by when we were going in and out of shift. So it was very, very rough times. But since then, we've traveled. We've been to Dominican Republic. We've been to Cancun. We've been to Belize. Going to Belize again in August.
Las Vegas. We're going to New Orleans.
So
fall.
we get to enjoy each other. And for us,
moments,
with our business strategy, as far as how we actually bring income in and revenue, the shows are quite enjoyable because we're going to shows where mostly people are looking to vend shows and make a lot of revenue. We're going to shows for the experience. We're going to Chicago and go have some Chicago homemade pizza.
We do it every
it's amazing. We're making an experience.
We come in on a Thursday and we've got to get our pizza.
So
and we
this
take
is
it back
our
to our room,
this is our us time when we're going to these different regions. When we went to Vegas. You go out there, get an opportunity to drive Lamborghinis and do different things. So we're creating memories for ourselves where at the end of the day, it's off the basis of us running such a tight ship with owning our own businesses.
And inserting our business into everything we eat, breathe, bleed, this brand.
Absolutely.
So that's why it comes first so that our kids can also come first. Absolutely. So that our time is first, so that we're not stuck behind a badge and out there at all hours of the night. Because I worked my entire time third shift. He worked mostly of his entire time third shift, and then we've got call-outs. And then call outs. He had call outs. So it's just it is our time together. Right. It's created time for us. We see each other more now, and sometimes we want to choke each other more now. but yes,
if you're in it with your significant other or any partner, and you guys get along all the time, something's
wrong. Yeah.
Okay. You need somebody that's gonna kind of butt heads with you here and there. Disagree, have educated conversations, and that doesn't mean that you're going to resolve them right then and there. Sometimes you got to put that on pause and revisit it later. But if you have a person that's with you and everything is just yes, it's probably not going to be successful. You need to bump heads every once in a blue moon on certain topics that you disagree
because
upon.
you learn through trial and error. You learn through mistakes. You learn through your successes, and my strengths are different than his strengths and vice versa. Mm-hmm. So we just, I don't know, but this is our time.
And everything you have to look at is scale. We see a lot of different breeders, even on the ball python side. We have a lot of friends in the community that we're networked with, that we've purchased from, that we've built literally our collection and moving forward with certain projects we're working with. And I think everything as far as business, when it comes to that side of things, is all perception.
Right.
And in theory, if we just use literally a theory of what are you chasing? If you ask somebody an honest question, they're going to give you an answer, but is it going to be practical for what they're applying it to? I think anybody that you ask them that, hey, and again, this is just hypothetical. If you're asking a person that You need a business plan. Write out a business plan. You're going to spend $2 million. Why are you going to spend $2 million? You're going to build a business off of that $2 million, whether it's infrastructure, animals, whatever it may be. What's the goal of that? Is it to make the $2 million back? No, not necessarily. You want to spend $2 million and create out of thin air and hard work, literally a revenue stream that maybe that $2 million generates 200 grand a year. You talk to any business person that says, hey, if that's self-sustainable, where it literally on a regular basis is benefiting and generating 200 grand and ranging up every year as it continues on, do you really care? It takes you 9 years to get that investment back. I don't. Give me that business 10 times.
Yes, yes, definitely.
But everybody in our industry, they want to spend $5,000 and they want to make it back next year.
Yeah, and that's not really
not, yeah. And people don't understand that. You have to plan for longevity. You really, it has to be scalable, and scalability is longevity.
Right.
So that's the biggest ticket there.
Definitely.
So, and you guys touched a little bit about disagreements upon, let's say, even the business aspect or with your business partner. How do you guys overcome those hurdles when they arrive in your?
So
we just do.
Yeah, we just do. We just throw it out there. So we have this process. This is the process. And it comes up with any kind of idea you may have on the business. If she has an idea, if I have an idea, but we go about it in different approaches. Mm-hmm. If something pops up and she's been thinking about it and she's like, oh, this would be cool. We should do X, Y, and Z. And we'll listen to it and we'll figure it out and we'll see, everything that's brought up between me or her, we're going to see if we can poke holes in it. My issue, which is a problem as well as it's a great thing, is I'm going to bounce that concept around in my head 100 times. If I come up, she's not even heard about it. I'm going to bounce it around in my head 100 times. And the reason I'm bouncing it around because I'm purposely looking for how this is not beneficial and how this won't work. So when I bounce that 100 times out of 100 times, I see that this is the way to go. Now I bring it to the table and like, babe, this is what I'm thinking about. We should do X, Y, and Z. Now I'm also looking for her now that she's heard it to poke holes in the story. Audra, on the other hand, she's like, oh, it's not in the head, it comes out of her mouth. Yeah. So she's going to throw it out there every single time.
Because I know,
and then we're going to talk about
that he is more like, logical. He's very logical. I'm more of the creative. So if I can figure out, like, if I'm thinking about something and I can figure out this way awesome, crazy idea that we need to do, if I can present it to him, then he can take it and actually makes it functional.
Right.
So if it will work. So, and a lot of times when I spit these things out to him, it also can a lot of times give me an idea. Okay, yeah, that sounded better in my head than it sounded out my mouth.
Right.
So like we just work well together because the things that I come up with, a lot of times they will work, but the way I would have done it wouldn't have been ideal. It might have worked that way, but he can take it and be logical and be functional about it.
And sometimes even adjust it in a way where now it works if we do it this way.
Yeah, exactly. He can, it's just we work well together on that stream thing. If you can find a partner that is willing to understand like their weaknesses and understand that their partner has a strength in that place and to not feel like you're not quite as good or this or that or the third, then you can actually use each other to make yourselves better, to lock yourselves together and say, okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to know when you have a rider too.
Absolutely.
We have stories on both sides, before any reptiles. I mean, there was a point in time in law enforcement where I worked every day for 4 years, holidays, Christmas, birthdays, and it is what it is. No one cares. Work harder. That's what we always do.
We always say that.
So
no one cares. Work harder.
It's a hard kind of approach to life, especially dealing with me, because if we're sitting there having these conversations, you got to understand, Audra's had a heck of a journey herself. We have four kids total, 3 boys. And when Audra had Abel, Audra gained a ton of weight.
Right.
We met each other. This is way before law enforcement, way before all of this stuff. She was severely overweight. We met in the gym, and I'm going to explain something to you guys. I'm the type of personality in the gym that you hate. Okay, you all right. I'm in your face, not letting up, and just no give. And she learned to love it. She lost 160 plus pounds.
Oh,
A whole person.
Yeah, I was like,
So these are the
I
type
was
of people you need to kind of
almost 300 pounds. So like the way we do things, like it just works with us because again, like he was talking about, like I'm just a rider. Like I support him because I have faith and I have trust in him that he's not going to take us anywhere we need to go. I've seen him help me in my journey of where I was with my weight, and I trust him. I know he's not going to do anything that's going to hurt us. So if that's the case, okay, I'm going to put my head down. I'm a really good worker. Like I work.
You guys have seen the videos where we built the facility. We had the whole kind of the building entire design for the facility. They built it from the studs and everything. Now, once it was finally put in place and delivered and leveled out, we went inside and we did everything ourselves inside.
Yeah.
All right. So we were insulating,
electrical,
electrical permits,
everything. Sheetrock.
He was holding up the sheetrock. She was carrying sheetrock. We got videos online where literally we had to trench plumbing and electrical lines. We did it by hand.
Come to find out, the daggone thing. Yeah, we could have got a trencher, but we used a hammer jack.
She was on it to the point hours of it.
Hours and hours.
You will be done and sitting and eating, and you're like this at the table.
Yeah.
Used to pushing on this thing, and she never complained, and it was literally just balls to the wall the entire time. She'll get on the cars with you. She'll do all of anything grimy, gruddy, hard. She's gonna be right there the whole time. And I think that's the only type of personality and the only type of person that I can really have in my circle, because it's rough dealing with me. It's rough. It's rough.
So then that kind of leads into my next question. So do you guys have anything planned or any kind of plan in place? That way, if something was to happen in your guys' life.
So, meaning like if something were to happen to him or something were to happen to me?
Yeah. What do you guys got a plan for your guys' business?
For us, we just know each other so well. We know each other's actions. We understand how each other moves. If in the event that something happened to him, I just step in and just deal with it. What is in front of me, I'm going to deal with.
And same on the other side of that, we also built everything from day one, looking at other friends of ours who had businesses, understanding that we were in a different lane because this business kind of simulates more livestock than anything else, like farming and stuff like that. So we literally built the Flawless brand on our backs, where we were able to look forward and say, hey, in dire circumstances, we want to make sure that we're not stressed. Therefore, when the market was going crazy during COVID and people were making sales, we were killing it. We did well throughout after COVID, but we didn't live beyond our means. No. So we were able to kind of build an entire facility from the ground up and get to all the way to this point and not carry along any loans. So when we were riding high on the horse and getting into this project and that project and sales were completely through the roof, you put money away. You reinvest money in your business. You do things in a manner where you're planning for the future even before it gets here, which sparked the whole thing when we hit the ground running even with ball pythons. You know, we've done videos over there. We're over $500,000 invested literally in 3 years. This is our third year breeding, you know, and doing that entire plan. And that came off the backs of Crested Geckos and building that brand. So knowing what you're doing as far as building it in a manner of, all right, hey, you know, this entire month you make no money. Well, what was your overhead? If your overhead is low enough and there's no mortgage, there's no this, there's no lease. All right, how are you going to stay afloat? How are you going to make it to the next month? What's your 1 year plan, 5 year plan? So you kind of put things in place to circumvent any issues.
Not to mention, it's like anytime you're in a relationship with somebody, like specifically with us, okay, so we're married. I am more of a traditional style wife. Like we have a traditional kind of style marriage. He's the head of household. Like, this is the man, this is the male. Like, I am a woman, and I fully enjoy being that woman that I can lean and trust on my husband. That being said, I also know that things happen in life. I've been through so much in my life, a lot of death, a lot of traumatic events that I've just become very self-reliant myself. Like
Yep.
I am good at self-preservation as well. So if something were to happen to him, then you just have to take over. You just have to do it.
Yep.
It's very nice knowing that as a woman, as his wife, like there's a lot of things that I don't have to do, but I can do them if necessary.
And think about it. She used to be terrified of snakes.
Oh yeah.
We were already rocking and rolling, doing crested geckos and everything else on a whole nother level when she was terrified of snakes. And we literally went to the table and I said, hey, this, that, and third. And we started talking about the planning and what this is going to be. Now, if you can go through our research, you see her on video, on camera with the snakes out by herself doing this, telling you about this gene and that gene. And it boils down to, at the end of the day, for certain, and also quality of life, a lot of stuff that people want, are you willing to take the extra steps to go get it? We make contact with a lot of people on a week-to-week basis, even prior law enforcement buddies of ours, and they'll constantly tell you how they hate their job, but then they'll also say, oh man, I couldn't do what you were doing. Oh, so you mean you couldn't really enjoy your day-to-day life sitting at home working for yourself? It doesn't sound very bright.
You won't do.
Yeah.
So I've kind of come up with this because it's funny because he just kind of makes a decision and he rolls with it, and he just knows me so well now to the point where he knows I'm with him. I'll ride it out with him. I'm with it, whatever he's with. So in that realm of things, even when it comes to a situation of I'm not comfortable in this or I really don't like that, it isn't a question. Like I'm just going to do it because I know that's what's best for our family. So in that realm of things, like you have to consistently do what you don't want to do so that eventually you can do what others can't do now.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's about all I mean, I have a ton more questions, but I want to trying to get you guys back on the show here in a couple of months. So I'm going to save some of those questions. Does anybody else have any questions?
I don't.
Not really, but I'll say this. I love listening to you guys talk. I had such a good time when you guys came out and kicked it with us after Tinley, dude.
Yep.
I enjoy listening to you guys talk, and you know, we talked about this when we were there. It just makes a difference when you've had your hand on somebody's shoulder and the social media becomes more of a reality. And dude, I'm just glad I've got a chance to meet you guys. And we all should have learned a little bit about who you guys are now. And I respect exactly what you guys said. It sounds like each of you know that you're equally important, but everybody knows their lane. And even though there can be some crossover to help, there's just not that rigidness. And if there was just more relationships like that, as people may be like blowing their mind, it's really simple.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. And
People overcomplicate stuff.
yeah,
I loved it. I loved it.
Thank you.
Wayne, you got anything?
He's like, no.
Nuh-uh.
I want to thank you all and do appreciate your service to the community.
Yes.
Thank
Now,
you.
before we go, can you go ahead and drop your social links so everybody can find you?
Sure. So it's Flawless Crested Geckos as well as Flawless Exotic Creations. We've actually advertised a lot. So if you type either one of those into Google, everything will populate. But we also have Instagram and Facebook under those same handles. And if you want a little bit more insight on the business approach of whatever species you may be into, we also have a Patreon. We have 2 tiers on the Patreon where you can actually utilize and bank all the funds that you pay. We eat your fees, and you can bank your funds and use it toward the projects as far as in our crested geckos that you would like to purchase and move things forward. So
That's awesome.
Awesome. All right, with that, everyone, all I have left to say is remember, with hard work, determination, and positivity, your dreams too can become a reality. And we are out.
Bye.
Later.